Welcome back to the show. It's over. The SEC versus Ripple case is over. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, we're knocking on the door of $4 trillion cryptocurrency market cap. We're sitting at $3.95 trillion. We're up 1.1 in the last 24. Right now, Bitcoin 116,500 plus, Ethereum 3,800 plus, XRP is $3.32. We're up 8.2 on the 24-hour, and we're up 12.2 on the 7-day, jumping from basically the $3 mark, give or take, yesterday to $3.35. I think we hit on the news that the Ripple case had ended. Let's look at the range of price. You're going to love this video. Range between 302 and 336. That baby's off to the races right there. We love it. And we love this too. It's iTrustCapital, ladies and gentlemen, which, by the way, I have been using for 6 years for my IRAs, my crypto IRAs. And I tell you something, it's amazing. And you can't believe the power that you get when you self-direct your own investments in a crypto IRA here at iTrust. And they have other options too. But listen, you can roll your 401k, your 453, all the different things. You could roll that over. And they've made it so super easy for you to do. And by the way, you know, the president just signed an executive order unlocking $12.5 trillion worth of 401k money. You can now easily get over here and experience what we all have been experiencing in our IRAs. You're going to love it. And now they've added a premium custody account. I tell you, this is amazing. And I think of it like a premium custody vault, right? So let's just take a look at this for a second, because it's a closed loop system, really is done with the mindset of trying to protect every customer from our side of the fence. And I don't know anybody else that's really trying to do that. That's pretty commendable. So you're looking at institutional custody, award-winning U.S.-based support, low cost, no monthly fee. You could trade in and out of all kinds of cryptos, but it's a closed loop system in that when you go in with your crypto or cash, when you come out, you could do whatever you want when you're in there, but when you come out of this thing, you got to come out as cash. And that's why it's a closed loop system. And it's done that way specifically to try to give you as much protection in the market as possible. So God forbid, if on our side of the responsible fence, right, we have a SIM card swap, or we have some kind of a click on a link we clicked on, or a text message, or a call, and we gave them some information we shouldn't have. We've all been hustled before. It happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to one of the founders of iTrustCapital before, and other executives in there. We've all fell victim to this stuff. And this is why this really, really appeals to me, especially when I start thinking about my long-term bag, right? When I really think about the long-term portfolio side of my portfolio, I start thinking maybe this closed loop system might be exactly where I need to have my long-term assets, right? So if this is interesting to you and you like this and you want to get that peace of mind when you're sleeping, this is something you're going to want to check out. All you got to do is go to itrustcapital.com/XRP Army and use the code XRP6 and get started today, especially before this bull run's getting ready to take off. Now, let's start right here. This is U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he is going to tell you about exactly what's coming in the United States.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. Past administration starved and almost made extinct a lot of these companies and pushed it offshore. So what we want to do is apply the highest U.S. regulatory and AML standards to digital assets, especially we are going.
There we have it, especially the digital assets. Yeah, we like it. And it's the U.S. Treasury Secretary. Remember the last one we had? Oh, boy. Oh, well, here's the news you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Remember yesterday we got this from Cointelegraph that the SEC was expected to deliberate Ripple's decision to withdraw its appeal August 7th. Will this finally put the XRP case to rest? I said, Houston, we may be ready for takeoff. Lock the you-know-what in. Yeah, Preston down here said Judge Torres still has a say in the matter. Not anymore, Preston, but I appreciate the comment. Dr. Kaiser says, no, we are not. Dr. Kaiser, yes, we are. So there you have it. Ripple's cross-border payments token has surged following the conclusion of an almost 5-year legal battle between the company and SEC. This is remarkable, ladies and gentlemen. They say the XRP price skyrocketed 13% on the news. Here's James K. Filan with 4 million views of this post. XRP community, SEC versus Ripple case, XRP breaking. The parties have filed a joint dismissal of the appeals. The case is over. Jim, I can't thank you enough for all you've done to help everyone in the XRP family stay informed about this case. I'm very grateful for your willingness to help us. Thank you. When I look back on this, I've been in this crypto space for 8 years, maybe a little more. And I tell you, for 5 of it, we've had this case hanging over all of our heads. For 5 years out of the 8 plus or whatever it is now that I've been in this space, I almost don't know what it's like anymore to be in this space without having the case over our heads. But guess what? We're all about to find out, because it's really over. I literally sat around yesterday evening, and I was sitting around, I was even in bed, I was talking to my wife, I was like, I can't believe it. It's really over. Like, it's surreal. We've been fighting so long, and now it's here. Well, now that it is here, let's start moving through it. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Ladies and gentlemen, we won. We won. It's remarkable. Let it sink in. It's been 5 long years. John Deaton says, as Jordan M. Deaton's lawyer, and more importantly, as her father, I approve this message. He said, as amicus counsel on behalf of 75,000 XRP holders who may all not be named, but were 100% an essential part of it all, I approve this message. And that is James Filan reporting that the case is over. That is incredible. And I remind everyone, and I know you don't need it, but this case doesn't end the way we needed it without John Deaton. Remember, this is a real fact. This is not my opinion. Judge Annalisa Torres, when she ruled that XRP was in and of itself not a security, she hung her hat on that decision and that ruling, largely in part of John Deaton's amicus brief filing representing 75,000 of all of you. That is the power of working together. And Jimmy Life's got it great here. He says, I'm so grateful. And Phil Spin, shout out to Phil. He says, amen. You damn right. Ashley Prosper says, this case is over. Now watch the XRP ETFs. Well, Ashley Prosper is one of the smartest people in this space. She's got it on lock. She knows what's coming. And so does Nate Garazzi, who has been calling for a BlackRock XRP spot ETF. And he says, yes, I think BlackRock was waiting to see this, the end of the case. He's showing in the post. If you're driving, don't look at the screen. He's waiting to see this before the filing for iShares XRP ETF. He says, I will own it if I'm wrong. In my opinion, makes 0 sense for them to ignore crypto assets beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. Otherwise, they're basically saying Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only ones that will ever have value, which would be bold. You're damn right it would. I say to what Nate Garazzi shared there that I agreed with him, not to mention the fact BlackRock already works with Ripple and Ondo Finance tokenizing U.S. Treasuries on the XRP ledger for BlackRock's BUIDL fund. No way you can get me to believe that BlackRock wants to be involved with tokenizing U.S. Treasuries on the XRP ledger, but doesn't want to have an XRP spot ETF? Come on in, BlackRock. We know you're going to anyways. This here from the one and only Smoke Dog. He says, when this case is settled, this will give the seal of approval to the central banks and the other financial institutions to start using XRP through the XRP ledger. And I say yes, that in conjunction with a few other things, which we are about to take a look at. And remember, JP Morgan, what they said not too long ago, 21, but they did say it again. They mentioned it again not long ago. JP Morgan, if Ripple wins SEC lawsuit, XRP is poised for significant adoption. You better lock in, ladies and gentlemen, and I know most of you are. But now let's take a look at this. This from Bale. He says, breaking, we are now at phase 8 of XRP rise to dominance. Go all the way back and look at this timeline he's laid out here. Real USD is released. Trump's inauguration. They donated a lot of money from Ripple. Gary officially leaves the SEC. And remember, then we saw Ripple have dinner with President Trump. XRP Strategic Reserve is coming, announced by the president. Ripple case ends. Alt season's beginning. Ripple named big bank partnerships. XRP ETF approvals pending. HODL, do not sell, he says. Well, and then I say, I'd like to add what's coming next to Bale's list, because that was a great list. The SEC versus Ripple case ends. Check, we got that. What's next? XRP spot ETF approvals, as I agree with Ashley Prosper and Nate Grazzi there. And don't forget, the Clarity Act becomes law by October, is what's scheduled. Ripple receives bank license and a Federal Reserve master account. That's by November. And more Ripple acquisitions. Now, all of these things have the potential to be completed by November this year. And we just saw a recent acquisition of Rail. And we know we had the Hidden Road acquisition as well. Now, if that happens and we see all of these things come to light, especially the XRP ETFs and the Clarity Act and the licensure and the master account for Ripple, then we see the biggest bull cycle in digital asset history. That's how I've got it. Don't believe it. It's still true at my house. Ladies and gentlemen, the case is over. 5 long years of wondering if you were going to make it through is no longer a question. You did make it through. And I just want to say that Ripple and XRP and the XRP ledger are designed to work within the financial system. I have always believed from day one of this case that it was as much a vetting and an audit process of Ripple, XRP, and the ledger as it was a legal matter. Now that legal matter is ended, and now it is time for Ripple, XRP, and the XRP ledger to have their coronation. They are going to be welcomed and embraced inside of the financial system because there isn't one other digital asset in the world that has been vetted and audited to the level of clarity and compliance and transparency that XRP and the XRP ledger have been. You can write that down. Don't believe it. It's still true. Our time is about to begin because when the next few things on this list are completed, this is going to be an amazing, amazing ride. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the Freedom Zone. I hope you will join us.